Hi, I'm Henry J. Medina on the Coaches Show on Hornet Radio. This week, we focus in on track and field. Our co-host Caleb Ramos got to speak with some of the athletes from the Hornets track and field team as they prepare for their upcoming meet. All that and more this week on the Coaches Show.
I'm Caleb Ramos, and I'm now standing here with distance runner for the Fullerton College Hornets track team, Brittany Rodriguez. Now, Brittany, thank you for joining us today. What got you into track and field in the first place?
I had a lot of friends on the team at first, and then I just really started enjoying running, so I decided to continue on with it.
Now, you guys have a meet tomorrow as of recording this. How do you prepare for a meet based on like a typical practice day?
For practice, the day before, we usually cut it shorter, like around 4 miles, and we just try to do as much recovery, strides, and yeah, that's about it.
Short 4 miles is crazy, but how do you kind of get into the headspace of, okay, I've got to meet tomorrow, this is how I personally prepare?
Okay, so I just try to not get in my head about the meets. I just try to talk with my teammates about what my race plan is, and just try not to overthink it too much, because it's very easy to get in your head in this sport.
Now, as a freshman, you are already first in the conference in one of your races and second in a couple others. How does that feel for you?
I'm obviously very grateful to be able to say that I'm leading one of the events, and I'm trying to work harder to, get first in all the other ones that I can. Yeah.
Now, in a similar vein, on the Fullerton College leaderboards, you are 9th all-time in the 800, I believe 8th in the 15, and 9th again in the 5K. How does that feel for you, knowing that you have a whole nother year should you choose to come back?
I am actually very excited. That just means I feel more motivated to put in more work to try to climb up those spaces and get a higher ranking there. Yeah. Yeah.
And then if you had to kind of pick one race to focus on, your favorite race, what would you say that would be?
I would say the 800. It's not my best, but definitely my favorite one to race.
All right, Brittany, thank you so much for joining us here today. Really appreciate it, and good luck on the rest of your
All right,
season.
thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm now standing here with Jenna Crosstag, sprinter for the Hornets track and field team. Jenna, thank you for joining us today. Now, I noticed that you graduated high school back in 2020, and then you spent 2021 and 2022 at Cal State Fullerton before taking a few years off and then coming to Fullerton College. How did you end up here?
So I got my bachelor's degree, but I'm going back to school to get my doctorate. And then I knew one of the coaches on the track and field team, and I didn't think my time in track and field was over, so I just decided to come back to it just for fun.
Yeah. You took those about, let's say, 3 to 4 years off from 2022 to now 2025, 2026, and yet you are top 5 in Fullerton College history all time for all 4 of your races. You are second in the 100, first in the 200, third in the 400, and fourth in the 800 for all-time Fullerton College. How does that make you feel, knowing that you were able to come back after all this time and do that well?
I honestly went into it with not really any expectations, but I did spend those few years off focusing on a little more weightlifting and long distance training and overall building up my physical and mental health. And I just think that kind of helped a lot, just coming into it with like a better mindset. And it's really just more fun to be out here now.
Now, your coach mentioned to us that you got 2 PRs last week. How do you feel about those and going into this next one as well?
I was honestly so happy about the PRs. I haven't hit a personal record in quite some time, and so this coming week, it was one of my biggest goals of the season. So going into this week, it's just keep doing what you're doing, because obviously it's working. So I'm just gonna go out there and do what I can.
Now, how do you, as maybe a bit more experienced of a runner, help the incoming freshmen get used to the collegiate scene?
I think just with my experience, is a good kind of mentor know. I'm helping them like with nutrition, and I'm able to, like, we have our great coaches, but I'm also able to put my athlete input and some coaching input to be able for them to like develop better as an athlete.
Now, as I mentioned, you've gotten a bunch of different records in your races. Do you maybe have a favorite record that you have or a favorite race that you've run so far this season?
Yeah, my 400, I've been specialized in the 400 for so many years, and it's a really hard event, and I'm really excited to continue running it and to keep doing well in it.
Now, you mentioned the 400 being really hard. Could you explain kind of in your own words why it's so hard?
It kind of feels like you're doing an all-out sprint for a really long time. The first 300 you breathe and cruise, but for me, the last like 75 meters, it feels like you can't push your body anymore, but you have to.
All right, Jenna, thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate it, and good luck on the rest of your season.
Thank you.
I'm now standing here with Olivia Iteriaga, thrower for the Hornets track and field program. Now, Olivia, thank you for joining us today. How did you get into throwing for a track and field team?
I started in high school. I started my junior year, and truthfully, I was just doing it for fun. And then I, started taking it more serious and started getting good, and I was like, oh, I can do something with this. And so here I am.
Now, what does a typical practice day for you look like?
Typically, we warm up, and then we do some drilling, and then we usually pick 1 to 2 events that we focus on. So like today, because it's before the meet, we're doing all 4. But for example, yesterday we focused on hammer and shot. So.
Now, you mentioned all 4 of discus, shot put, javelin, and hammer throw. In high school, you only did discus and shot. You didn't really do javelin and hammer, and now you're top 2 in the conference for hammer throw, and you are also top 10 in Fullerton College history for both hammer and javelin. How do you kind of come in as a freshman and say, hey, these are 2 new events I've never done before. I'm going to go out and get these outstanding distances?
Honestly, I just came in super open-minded and positive, and I have seen both events before, and I've always thought javelin looked really, really cool. So I came in super excited to do it. And then hammer was kind of took me by surprise because I came in being like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do good with it. But yeah, I just really try to like focus and have fun with them. And yeah, now they're 2 of my favorites. So.
What was that transition from high school to college like for you?
I mean, it's definitely different going from just having, practice every day for 6 period, and it's only the 2 events. So meets are a lot shorter, it's a lot less tiring, and then coming here, it's a lot more training and all the weight room and the drilling and the coaching and more events. So I think that the transition was a lot at first, but now I've gotten used to it. I prefer it so much more here. It's so much better.
Now, how do you personally kind of work on your technique for all 4 different events that you have?
So other than like the drilling we do here, when I'm at home, I do a lot of like studying. So I watch like the Olympics and world champs, and like just watch the best do it and be like, obviously I'm not going to look like that right now, but to just take some pointers from it and look at their feet and what they're doing and their attitude and how, they carry themselves. And I think I try to carry some of that here with me when I do it too.
Now, going back to a little bit earlier, you mentioned that both javelin and hammer are 2 of your favorites, but if you had to pick only one of your 4 throwing events that you could do for the rest of your life, which one would it be and why?
That is hard. I honestly would probably go discus because I have been doing it since my junior year. I think I have so much more to give with discus, and so I would love to just see how far I can take it. And, I think I have the most room to grow, and I think I have a lot of fun with it. So it'd probably be discus.
All right, Olivia, thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you to Olivia, Jenna, and Brittany for joining us, and a thank you to Coach Gina Bevick as well for allowing us to interview her athletes. If you want to support the athletes you saw here today and more, be sure to check out their schedule on the screen And finally, be sure to come back next week where we talk all things Fullerton College tennis right here on the Coaches Show on Hornet Radio.